Hi guys. So we're gonna talk about people who suffer from migraines. You probably have depressions. Also, is the same people, and sometimes it leads to suicidal thoughts, and it's all audial vector people, mostly depressions and lack of sleeping if you cannot sleep at night, and all these issues. Probably it's your audio vector is dominant, and you can check my system vector self-cognition, so you can understand exactly what is audio vector. Now, what can you do to get rid of all these issues? Now, we need to um, understand that people, they the God and the universe didn't create them to suffer, to be miserable, so they can enjoy their life and live happy and live together. So people in ancient times, especially, we were living in the tribes, and we couldn't survive by ourselves, so we lived in the groups. Now, humans, the main difference humans from the animals, it's if you put human to live in a jungle with monkeys all his life, he's not gonna become a human. And if you put a monkey to live with humans, it's still gonna be a monkey. So humans only able to fulfill itself and become happy and become human being only among other humans. So if you live by yourself, if you don't have many friends or family, and obviously you have not the best thoughts, probably, I don't think that you're really a happy person, that's what I mean. Because you need to live among other humans, with other people. That's what differentiates you, the main difference between you and animals. You need to live with other humans. Now, um, if you, some of the people, and I had the same problem, you couldn't understand other people. You don't know why they behave this way, why they doing things that you don't want them to do, and sometimes you cannot really explain those doings and actions of other people. And sometimes it's harm your maybe your relationship or your family, and you need to understand all people are different. We have 8 different personalities. We have audio vector, we have dermal, visual, we have 8 different vectors. And every person, every vector, is completely different from another one. Now, if you don't know how to differentiate themselves, how to differentiate and say and tell who's which vector and what it irritates one person can other person can maybe enjoy. If you're gonna try to, for example, in a family, when you try to raise your kid, sometimes you trying to do it the same way as you've been raised. And maybe your dermal vector, maybe if your parents limiting you in time, they don't give you much of a freedom, and they always kind of put you in some limits and trying to get you some kind of rules to that you need to obey. As a dermal vector, it can fulfill your personality, and then you can actually transfer it to the society and be great leader in a company or engineer. But if we do the same thing to anal vector person, is going to be probably frustrated. Anal vector is going to be really offended, because you cannot treat, basically the point is you cannot treat everybody the same. And in order to understand which vector is you or other person that you have relationship, sort kind of, you really need to study system vector of self-cognition, and it's gonna help you to understand yourself and other people and which vector another person and what their priorities and what they like and sexuality and everything else. Because even sexualities we have different, the pulse we have different, even the blood pressure, I mean everything, we're completely different. We just look similar outside but not inside, so that's main reason why we have all these issues in societies and problems and criminals and all that stuff. We cannot understand each other. Now, you as a audial vector person, if you trying to behave or adapt, like take a sample from like your parents or your friends, what they do, and you're trying to adopt the same, it might not work, and it might bring you a lot of discomfort eventually. Like for example, audial vector, it's a vector that really needs to read and be educated, because it's I'm gonna explain it in a moment why, but it's actually one of the intelligent vectors in our society, in our tribe. So it's very important that they need to read, they need to go to college. And there is some other vectors, like black vector, he cannot even read, he doesn't even understand. If he's gonna read a book, you're gonna ask him what did he read, he's not gonna even able to explain what he read. It's not their personality to read and be intelligent. So you as audial vector person, when you have this deep frustrations and it's depression and migraines and suicidal thoughts, you need to do several steps here to get rid of these issues. And first thing, it's primary, you need to learn how to communicate, work and live with other people, because you live in society, and as audial vector person, you in ancient time and in Stone Age and always we were living as a tribe, we were living as a group together. So you need to find your group, work with other people and really communicate. So I even suggest to go to college that is for example, if it's online, it's better if you go to actual college than go and take online classes. Now, another thing is, when we lived in the tribe and we had we were, before we became even humans, it was like prime evil man, and we were not humans yet. An audio vector person in our tribe was watching. It was his main role. He was watching us at night, and that's why they can hear better, and their hearing is much better than any other person. So by the way, if you have children with audio vector, try not to scream, be too much loud, and if you abuse them, you scream or curse, it can lead to things like autism or schizophrenia, and even worse than that. I covered it in a video before about issues the audio vector can have. So when you were in a group, you were watching our tribe at night, and you were kind of, mostly they were by themselves. That's why these people are kind of real introvert. And sometimes it's good if you take some time and staying by yourself, watching at the sky and thinking, because that's what the same vector of that primeval man was doing. He was watching at the sky by himself, watching the tribe at night, because usually at night audio vector people, they kind of awake and they more sleep at daytime, because their role is watching the tribe at night. But we actually evolutionizing little by little, so it's not that bad right now, but still they have issues to sleep sometimes, so they're more comfortable at night, like working at night, producing, more productive. And they were watching the tribe at night, and they were kind of focused and trying to hear if there is any movements, somebody approaching, any wild animals or anything else. And what happened is they when they focus 100%, and they kind of using their ears for 100% with this focus, that was their main role. That was what they had to do in our tribe, to focus. So we're not going to be eaten at night by wild animals or be attacked by an enemy. So their main role in the tribe is focus. So if you cannot focus and learn how to focus, you might have those issues as depression and all the pathologies that I covered in the beginning. Now, in order to focus, how you focus, you can't just sit down. Sometimes it's good, sit down, look at the sky and focus, but your main role is to think. When we were in a tribe and you were watching our tribe, you're the first one who start thinking, and that's how we evolutionize as a humans. The idea born, and the audio vector person, you can say that primeval man started to think. So your main role is focus and thinking. And if you don't do that, you're going to experience the worst depressions and migraines and all stuff like that. Now, sometimes in order to think and be more productive, because also be productive for society, because you're thinking how to create a new let's say rocket, they're gonna fly to Mars faster. So in order to think about those things, you need to study, you need to learn, and very important is to learn It's also good to read books and learn new words. Why you need to learn new words? Because every new word gives you different kind of meaning of something. And audial vector person is looking for that meaning. He needs to find meaning in everything. A child always asks, what is this and what is that? He wants to know everything. Audial vector child. So in order to find those meaning and focus and think about big things, you need to learn, study, read books, and learn new words so you can understand wider. You can have a kind of wider thinking, you can say, because in order to understand the meaning of something, you need to know the word that describe it. So if you don't work on yourself and you don't work with other people, and you're gonna have these issues. And once you realize what happened, once you start working on that, it's gonna disappear. But it's very important. Focus, learning new words, and communicating with other people, working with other people, and doing some, always creating something, be creative, getting some ideas, and trying to help society to move forward. And that's the only way to fulfill yourself, and that's the only way you're going to get rid of those depressions and all the bad stuff that killing you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.